Hi everyone. Today we're tackling cognac. This is an introductory episode looking at cognac, and we're very lucky to have with us Didier from the Maison Du Whisky in Paris. Hi Didier, how you going?
Hi, how you doing?
Good, good. So I think I'll hand over to you straight away, but in South Africa we have a fairly active brandy scene, and
Mm.
people are quite a lot of cognac is enjoyed in this country and bought in this country, but a lot of people aren't very clear about what defines a cognac versus a brandy. Do you want to elaborate for us?
Yeah, I mean, basically to simplify, you could say that cognac is a brandy. So all cognacs are brandies, but not all brandies are cognac. Cognac will have some more specific rules, and in particular, where the grapes are grown. So it's actually the name of a French region, and cognac is made from grapes. So the grapes are grown only from this region to make cognac. So you can make brandy in France, for example, but if you're outside of the cognac region, Armagnac is another example of this. It's also brandy, but made in another region. So there's this sense of place that's it's a very French concept, actually, the kind of a terroir, and it's actually protected by law. And legally, if you want to make cognac, the grapes have to be produced in this region.
Much like champagne.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a good parallel.
So there's a lot of overlap in the growing regions, right? In terms of it's essentially a wine growing region dominantly. Obviously, the raw material for brandy and cognac is grapes. So am I right in saying that like the champagne growing regions and the cognacs have a lot of overlap?
Yeah, it's true because I mean, not only is the place kind of regulated, the source, there are also specific rules in place to make sure that it's a certain quality. For example, the types of stills that they're going to use has to be a certain copper Charentais style still, an old-fashioned still.
But
They use
still,
like a direct fire. Yeah, they use a direct fire to heat it, for example. And there's all these other kind of rules that make sure that the quality level is high. And that's why they protect their name, actually, because they go through all the trouble to make these very high quality brandies. Um, so they protect their name so that other brandies can't just kind of benefit from this hard work and image.
yeah, I mean it's important to have that designation and have that separation, and it does help uphold a certain quality. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, marketers run amok with such concepts sometimes, but we've seen the benefit to whiskey of having a single malt designation, and
Right. Definitely.
obviously for cognac the same applies, as well as this appellation. Um, so when you look at the world of cognac, you see descriptors, these age descriptors, VS, VSOP, XO, and it can get a bit confusing because different parts of the world rules can change, and
Yeah.
age standards can change. But for
I mean,
cognac,
even within France, it's different between the Calvados region, the Armagnac, and the Cognac, and they all use the
yeah,
same kind of descriptor. It would just be easier to use like a 10-year-old or 15-year-old like in Scotch. But
probably
this
with
is
it,
kind of
yeah,
a traditional, yeah, these are traditional terms, and most of them are actually coming from English because there was a strong English influence in the Cognac region, and their biggest market was England. So actually, for example, VS means very special in English. So these aren't actually French terms. But you're right to say that they do pop up in other, I mean, even in the rum industry, in the French rums, Martinique, they use kind of XO and terms like this, and they're not necessarily the same. But
correct.
yeah, one easy way, a trick someone taught me not long ago to remember them is so very VS means very special. It's a 2-year-old minimum.
Minimum 2 year.
Yeah, minimum 2 years. So VS, 2 letters, 2 years. VSOP, 4 letters, 4 years.
Ah, good
So
trick.
that's
Yeah,
a very superior old pale. That's where it comes from. Yeah, but so remember, it's 4 letters for 4 years. Napoleon is 6 years. There's no trick there, but you don't see many Napoleons on labels. Most people go straight to XO, and
yeah,
XO is now 10 years. It used to be lower. Now they moved it up to 10 years. So the X from XO, the Roman numeral 10, that's one way to remember it. And I think they even made an XXO recently, which is like 14 years or something, but I haven't really seen it yet on labels.
Yes, that's correct. I haven't seen that either, but it has been made.
And then so you have hors d'âge, which means kind of out of time. It's kind of usually most houses reserve that for their older XOs. It's the rules wise, it's the same as an XO. It's 10 years, but
Yes.
generally in cognac in their portfolio, they usually keep that for the older ones.
So hors d'âge could be a 10-year-old, but it's a kind of a special reserve, and it could be a 50-year-old as well. It's just open designation to say, look, this is our best work, and the age might be on the back label somewhere, or somewhere for you to discover.
Yeah, and a lot of cognac houses do blending, which is kind of why we made this through the grapevine range, which was really single casks, individual terroirs, individual casks, because of kind of going the opposite direction, more in like what we see in whiskey actually.
Yeah,
but most houses actually blend thousands of casks, so the age is going to be the minimum age of the youngest cognac in the blend. So the blenders are going to play a lot with the different casks and agings, and usually XO is minimum 10 years, but for the big houses it's usually a lot older. And it's like taste wise, the different age statements, the different age kind of indications, they'll usually correspond to a certain style in people's minds as well. So more so than age, if you have a VS, people are going to be expecting something kind of bright, fruity, lively, maybe a little floral. And so if you're going on the opposite to an XO, for example, people are going to be expecting also something more woody. Oak's age is going to be much more present with the vanilla and a little bit of rancio. So rancio, what is it? It's like these kind of nutty, leathery, oxidative tastes that you get with prolonged aging. And so this doesn't come from the actual oak itself. This is just the time and the contact with the oxygen through the oak. So when you have an XO on a label, you should be expecting something oakier and something kind of a little more complex because you've got these nutty, leathery notes. More than the age, I'd say, if you see on a label, it's more what to expect in terms of taste. So VS, bright, fruity. XO is going to be more oaky and nutty.
Well, Didier, thanks so much. That was a beautiful, authoritative intro. I think we will dive a little deeper into cognac, into some more geeky aspects of it in another episode. But till then, cheers.
Cheers, thanks.